Hello, welcome to another Purana Talk. We're reading the Garuda Purana. We're in Kanda 3 and we're in Chapter 3.
Creation of the universe. Variations due to difference in Gunas. That's the title. And Gunas is there are three Gunas. There's Rajoguna, which is fiery life, red in color. There's Tamoguna, which is black. It's the precipitating, slowing. And then there's Sattva Guna. Yeah, which is white and light, pure and stuff. Lord Krishna said, God Vishnu had a desire to create beings worthy of creation, to release beings worthy of release. Vishnu ever cherishes such desires, though the expression of such desires is expressly material. A little obtuse, but I think we can.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Hari assumed a material form and swallowed darkness. That form of the Lord they declared to be material. Those who do not know this enter the pitch dark region.
So, other than the nasty little ending, this is a reference to when Krishna was eating dirt, right?
No, I don't think so.
And his mom looked inside and saw the universe?
Yeah, well, that's certainly a story, but I don't think that's necessarily what they're referring
That's
to
not
here.
the reference. Yeah.
He swallowed darkness. It's an interesting idea. I don't know of the specific myth that it's referring to, but it's that who devours darkness reveals nothing but light, right? I assume. But there's this notion, remember, that Vishnu is outwardly sattvic, but inwardly tamasic. So
right.
Dark inward and light outward. Shiva is inverse. He looks tamasic externally, but he's sattvic internally. And Brahma is rajasic inside and out. Right. So I see a bit of that in there.
Yeah, I think you're on to something.
Hari assumed a material form and swallowed darkness. That form of the Lord they declared to be material. Those who do not know this enter the pitch dark region. The incarnations of Lord Vishnu are perfect. Perfect is the supreme form. Perfection begets perfection. Superiority and inferiority rest on personality, not on the facilities of time and space. It actually says space and time if you're reading along. I just reversed it. 5. The Supreme Lord is full. The superimposed universe is full. When the superimposed full is taken off, that which remains is also full.
Are they saying that even if you divided the whole, each portion would be a whole? Something like that?
I don't know. I mean, my question is, what the hell is the superimposed universe?
Well, good question.
And beyond that, I don't know how to follow it.
Well, are they talking about perceived, perhaps?
Okay.
You superimpose your awareness on what you're aware of.
Sure. And when you take that away, what remains is also full. Let's continue. It has become accustomed to say that he incarnates in the person of Krishna for lightening the burden of the earth. There can be no dissolution of the world without his wishes. 7. Too much effort should not be made for realizing self. Too much effort made for self-realization occasions trouble. too much effort leads to certain disease. It is certain.
I think they're talking about hypochondria, where awareness of a disease can emulate it. But
don't strive so much for self-realization.
Right.
It's more you should try to strive for realizing Krishna, I think is what they're suggesting.
Yeah.
And then perhaps
Yeah.
in so doing you realize yourself too.
Sure.
A thought. 8. The teacher and the disciple should make common effort to know what it is possible to know. The teacher and the disciple who work together in that direction can rightly be called by those designations. O son of Vinita, Garuda, those who think upon the Lord as supreme reality are the teacher and the taught in the right sense of the word. They say there is no harm to cut jokes with the teacher if the joke is simple enough.
Okay.
11. If the disciple cuts joke with the teacher out of ridicule or rage, if the teacher makes an ironical remark, the disciple and the teacher go to hell, where they stay as long as the moon and the stars shine in the sky.
It's a long time.
That seems like
for an excessive
a big
punishment.
Punishment for a joke gone awry. But they're warning you. You know, you can enjoy simple humor together between student and teacher.
But careful.
But careful, it's dangerous territory. It can harm both of you, and the injury may last a long time. The high-souled, red-eyed Hari, possessed of strong semen, deposited his energy in Maya, consisting of 3 Gunas with an auspicious force. And Maya is illusion. Garuda said, "O Hari, please tell us about the nature of your energy and its constituents. Is that energy the very nature of yours, or is it a separate entity? Tell me, O Lord, as you know the truth." Lord Krishna said, "O son of Vinita, the energy which Lord Hari deposited in Maya is the very nature of the Lord. The wise who know the truth have declared thus. They have also declared that the energy being material is a separate entity, like the lotus in the navel of Vishnu. The fact is not detrimental to the concept of the Lord being full of energy, as the Lord is the very form of knowledge. Lord Vasudeva is of the nature of energy, everywhere and in all times. O Lord of birds, if he were not possessed of energy, he would not be both Ishvara and Purusha." The people in general regard him as twofold, of the form of male and of the form of female. The two should not be considered to be separate entities, O Lord of birds. If the Lord were separate from the female form, O Lord of birds, how could the woman be his reflection? Hence the female is inseparable from the male form. The two forms constitute the very nature of the Lord. This should not be taken otherwise. The neutral form is alien to his nature. It is the effect and not his real nature. It is not present in Hari, O Lord of birds. Know that in the form of Hari there is reflected the form of Lakshmi.
That's interesting, just that they're saying that Vishnu is male, female.
But not neuter.
Right.
Garuda said, "The contact of a woman with a woman is futile, so say the wise. The female form being the mirror, how can there be reflected another female form? How could the female form abide in the female form? What is the reason thereof? Tell me, O Lord."
He hasn't noticed that she's both too.
Well, let's see. Lord Krishna said, Lord Vishnu assumes different female forms, O Lord of Birds. How can it be possible that Lakshmi, a female form herself, may not be reflected therein, since she, the Eternal One, being inseparable from the Lord, is always at his service in her many forms? Hence it is the separation from her Lord, and not her union with him, that can be the object of doubt on the part of the disciple. O Garuda, Lord Vishnu can never remain without Lakshmi, who is ever devoted to his lotus feet. Those seeking for release should know that Lakshmi can never remain without Vishnu in any space or time. Lord Vishnu deposits energy in her to further growth of creation. The Asuras hold that energy is the magical power of the Lord. But they are fools who ignore reality, and as a result enter the region of pitch darkness. In fact, what we call Maya is nothing but Prakriti, the primordial nature, invested with subtle form that is different from magic. 27. They should know that Lakshmi is the very self of Lord Vishnu who deposits energy in her. The union of the two is not without a purpose. She is beginningless, eternal, and truthful. How can she be a fake, O Lord of Birds? Prakriti is eternal truth, though not manifest in distinct form. But if she be an empirical reality, how can she be eternal? And if she be non-eternal, O Lord of Birds, how can she be the cause of creativity in her subtle form? If she be the cause of creativity in the subtle form, who can be the cause of creativity in the gross form? If you say, by the power of illusion, Vishnu manifests himself in many forms, but when illusion disappears by knowledge, the universe of various forms is absorbed in Vishnu. O Lord of Birds, here I shall produce an argument. 32. Hari being omniscient, how can ignorance abide with him? As darkness cannot coexist with the sun, there can be no ignorance coexisting with the Lord. Hence the Lord is not associated with Maya, who is illusion. If that were so, O Lord of Birds, how could we explain the difference between the omniscient Lord and the Lord of limited knowledge? How could the Vedas declare the identity of the two who are of contrary nature, not circumscribed by space and time? The creator of the universe is omnipotent and is above all sorrows. The individual soul, on the other hand, is the creator of a small world, being prone to sorrows and afflictions of births. The two are contradictory in nature and appear to be distinct. Such is the power of illusion of the magician Lord.
What verse?
35. 36. The devotees of Vishnu and their followers are exempt from censure and reproach. He who bears malice to them cannot receive the pleasure of Vishnu. Even in the state of release, he cannot enjoy perfect bliss. So, perhaps devotees of Vishnu, as long as they are truly acting as devotees of Vishnu and not just because they wear the garb of a devotee of Vishnu. You need to indulge every little behavior.
You don't fool Vishnu, right?
You don't fool Vishnu. Like Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Primordial Prakriti. Neither of them can be fooled. The devotees of Vishnu and their followers are exempt from censure and reproach. He who bears malice to them cannot receive the pleasure of Vishnu. Even in the state of release, he cannot enjoy perfect bliss. Those who perceive a difference between the supreme and the subservient self become subject to reproach and are overpowered by suffering and afflicted by affliction. They enter the region of pitch darkness, whence there can be no return. O Lord of Birds, the primordial nature, Prakriti, is subtle in form. It has the nature of eternal truth, as are the infinitesimal particles of space, time, air, and other elements. The seekers of eternal wisdom should know that the material objects consist of infinitesimal particles.
All right. I want nature, primordial nature, 38.
38. Prakriti is subtle in form. It has the nature of eternal truth, as are the infinitesimal particles of space, time, air, and other elements. Subtle in form, I guess.
Yeah, it was this
The seekers.
particles, infinitesimal particles.
Infinitesimal particles is the expression, and it's used a few times. As in 39:40, it continues, the seekers of eternal wisdom should know that the material objects consist of infinitesimal particles. We've got a theory of atomic.
Yeah, this is why.
But you get this. I mean, this is, at this point, certainly nothing new, because the atomic theory goes back at least to, what was his name? Lucretius or Epicurus?
Yeah, it's old.
It's okay, infinitesimal particles. You should know, O bird, that in the categories of the material objects there is a category called Vishesha, of which the final Vishesha is the Paramanu. Vishesha, a particular or an eternal distinguishing mark of each of the 9 dravyas. I think there are 9 elements, or 9, maybe even 9 metals. Dravyas, I'm anyway, but I'm not sure what that. I'm just, and the Paramanu is the 13th part of the atom of dust, which is seen moving in the sunbeam. So there's this notion that isn't beyond seeing. It's just very difficult to see except under unique circumstances. All right. Garuda said, "O Krishna, O Mahadeva." Oh, no, it doesn't say Mahadeva. It says, "O Madhava, O Lord of Sattvatas." But no, Sattvatas, a family of the Yadava race whose founder was Yadu, son of King Yayati. King Sattvata founded a branch of the Yadavas. After his name, he had 4 sons, Bhajan, Bhajaman. That's actually one of them. 1 is Bhajan Bhajamana. 2, Devavridha. 3, Andhaka Mahabhoja. And 4, Vrishni. Krishna, the celebrated hero of the Mahabharata, was born in the Sattvata Vrishni family. O Krishna, O Madhava, O Lord of Sattvatas, you say that the ultimate particle of a substance is Paramanu, this 13th part of the atom that you can see in. It is still not clear to me. The ultimate particle is indivisible. The other particles are divisible. That which is divisible cannot be ultimate particle. The view is invariable, so it appears to me. This view is invariable, so it appears to me. Lord Krishna said, there are experts who can perceive the divisible particles of a substance, but not the ultimate particle. The sages declare the ultimate particle to be Vishesha, following the view of ancient sages. The philosopher Kanada and Gautama, O Lord of birds, have endorsed that the ultimate Vishesha, called Paramanu, is indivisible. So they're saying there is an ultimate, the element itself, that at an atomic level is indivisible. There is a particle. And the Vishesha is, it's a category. So it's like iron as an element. It's like saying iron or mercury or hydrogen, right? But each of these can reduce to a single Paramanu. It's an indivisible particle. I think that's maybe what we got going on here. 45, the infinitesimal particles are divisible. Those who declare them indivisible are totally wrong in their view. Therefore, O son of Vinata, The particles are divisible in many parts. It reminds us now, since it calls him son of Vinata, we're talking about Garuda frequently, it decided suddenly to footnote it and tell us that Vinata is the mother of Aruna and Garuda and a wife of Kashyapa. Good to know.
I think they've given us the father's lineage before, but maybe I don't remember the mother's.
Oh yeah, well we know. Well, no, he's often referred to as son of Vinata, and that means the son of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
That's her name. But this doesn't even tell us anything except that she's the wife of Kashyapa. I don't know her lineage. Anyway, 46. O Lord of birds, the infinitesimal particles are divisible in many parts. There are in the same way many forms of Lord Hari. These forms are divisible, while the Lord himself is indivisible. That which is the subtlest of the subtle forms is also the greatest of the great. No characteristic difference should be traced among the forms of the Lord, who is of inconceivable form. None else but the Lord is eternal in respect of time, space, and quality. The wise define the eternity of time as time not circumscribed by time. The eternity of space as space not circumscribed by space. The eternity of attribute as an attribute not circumscribed by attributes. Thus the Lord is characterized by his threefold eternity. Though omnifarious or all-pervasive, he can still be circumscribed by space. His inconceivable and wondrous powers are manifest in the forms he takes for the welfare of the people. In respect of attributes and time, there is no difference in the forms of the Lord. Being all-pervasive, though circumscribed by space, there is no difference even in the minutest form of the Lord. Still, he is divisible even in subtle parts. Such is the virtue of his supreme power. Therefore, O Garuda, know that he incarnates in particular forms. His all-pervasive form, which does not incarnate, they call Narayana. Narayana, footnote, an epithet of Vishnu. The word is derived differently in the MS 110 CGP, page 955, footnote 5. Yeah. It's almost like it's Nar, which sounds a lot like Nur, which is man or of man, having to do with man. And Ayana suggests, like in Vajrayana and Ramayana, it's the vehicle of man. Narayana means, the greater vehicle, the lesser vehicle. When we talk about Hinayana and Mahayana,
Right.
It's that Ayana. Trying to figure out, because it doesn't really tell us what it is. It says it's derived differently in. Okay, his all-pervasive form they call Narayana. Thus, in all conditions and in all eternity, there is a fivefold classification of the different forms of the Lord, viz., the eternal and non-eternal, the animate and inanimate, and the Lord circumscribed and not circumscribed by time, space, and attributes. Lord Hari, the primeval Purusha, the mighty power, deposited energy in the primordial nature, called Maya. So here we've got Purusha and Prakriti, the duality of spirit and nature, of man and woman in some sense as well. Transcendent and immanent. And produced creation characterized by three gunas, viz. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And there you go.
Well, very interesting how magic was coming up this time. This theory of particle making up everything in nature, atomic theory of sorts,
and making it an analogy for the Lord and his various forms that he takes. And
Both the manifest and unmanifest,
ultimate
forms.
and yeah, multifarious forms.
The other thing that I thought was interesting was this land of pitch darkness that you go to is really Vishnu, because he's darkness inside. So you're just going inside Vishnu.
You go inside.
And so it's just a different way of seeing this.
Yeah.
And then, the fact that they were talking about how he had eaten the negativity kind of the universe right at the beginning.
It sort of makes sense of this description that we've come across that I was talking about, where he's Sattvic on the outside and Tamasic on the inside, and Shiva's just the reverse of that. Right. And libidinous Brahma is just sexual energy.
Well, I think he's really the awareness of the directions, like east of you, west of you, north of you, south of you. I think it's really you're noticing that you are where these directions.
He is the Lord of the four
together.
Directions. It's one of.
Yeah. So I think Brahma resides inside each person, and that's why there's no temple for him, because he's wherever you are.
Very interesting.
So if you think of Krishna as the spiral, he's the Vishnu is the spiral. You've got Shiva is the axis that goes through it, and Brahma is the experience of east of you, west of you. That's relative to where you are in this mess.
You've given a home to all the Trinity.
Right.
We're ready for the Theosophists now.
Right. They'll be calling in on the hotline.
Right. And you also should feel free to call in anytime, 24 hours a day.
Vishnu's always there.
Yeah, $2.99 a minute, and charged to your phone bill, and like that.
Enjoy.
And if you find the number, you're enlightened. So, bye.